Kia ora, and welcome to number 2 hangar of the New Zealand Warbirds Association here in Tamaki Makaurau, Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm hoping to go flying a little bit later on, but the weather is not so good at the moment. You might hear the hangar doors rattling and a little bit of drizzle on the roof. But in the meantime, I've just done a thorough pre-flight on the Chipmunk aeroplane sitting behind me, which has just come off its annual maintenance. So I've been having a very close look at things. I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you around the aeroplane, give you a bit of a narrated tour. Firstly, looking at the aeroplane itself, it's a 1940s design, immediately after World War II, designed in Canada. Most of them were built in the United Kingdom, and it became for a while a very popular introductory trainer in the Royal Air Force. 1,283 were built in Canada, the United Kingdom, and a few in Portugal, and somewhere north of 300 are still flying today. And I think about a dozen of those are in New Zealand. Even though it never saw military service in New Zealand, it's gained popularity as what we call a warbird. 2 seats on the Chipmunk, one behind the other. The student or the solo pilot sits in the front, and the instructor or the passenger sits in the back. Interestingly, compared to some more modern airplanes, the construction of the Chipmunk's a bit of a hybrid. So a lot of it is aluminium, quite a lot thicker than the aluminium you find on a more modern airplane. But the other big difference is back here. Sounds a bit like a drum, because it is. It's fabric covered. So fabric, as any keen fan of the America's Cup would know, has the advantage of being light, flexible, and really, really strong. So pretty much everything in the back end, so the backs of the wings, the control surfaces, the elevators, and the rudder over there it is, are all covered in fabric with an aluminium frame. So let's go for a walk around the airplane. So up the front here, it looks a little bit Thomas the Tank Engine, and I quite like that. This is the Gypsy Major engine, which powers the Chipmunk. It's got 4 cylinders, and by most standards, it would be considered an upside down engine. Because if you look down the bottom here, the cylinders themselves, you can see the cylinder heads, are at the bottom of the engine rather than at the top. Up the front, the propeller that gets us where we're going. And around the other side, a little bit more brass, continuing the Thomas the Tank Engine theme. You've got the oil tank, the carburetor, and associated hardware to support the engine. So we've got an exhaust manifold, an inlet manifold, and all the other bits and pieces. It's a bit hard doing this while I'm not watching the camera. Let's pop up to the cockpit now. So I've been flying the Chipmunk here at Warbirds for about 18 months now. I think I've got about 130, 140 hours on this airplane. And the 2 things that appeal to me about it are its aerobatic capability. So this is a really capable, although not super high powered aerobatic trainer. It's got 145 horsepower, which is not a lot. And the fact that it's got a tail wheel rather than a nose wheel. So you can sort of see the tail wheel down there. We've got 2 big wheels under the wings and a tail wheel balancing things at the end. It doesn't take a lot of weight, but it's kind of crucial to the operation. And compared to more modern airplanes, a tail wheel airplane is quite a lot trickier to fly. But once you've got the hang of it, it's doable. Let's just step up onto the wing and we'll have a look into the cockpit. So we're looking now into the front or pilot or student's cockpit, and it's identical to the back. And that's standard with trainers, right? There's no point in having some of the controls for the student and some of the controls for the instructor. Everyone needs everything. So if it looks a little bit like World War II, that's because it is. A lot of these controls and instruments are identical to what you would have seen in something like a Spitfire or a Hurricane. So a really rudimentary artificial horizon, gyro compass, climate descent, airspeed indicator, altimeter, straight out of Biggles. Really cool. So that's the de Havilland Chipmunk. Oh, might as well stand up here on the wing and have a bit of a look around the whole hangar. One of many aeroplanes here at Warbirds Ardmore. You can see behind me there's two very fetching looking North American Harvard trainers. There's another one. Down in front, a New Zealand design and built air trainer. Way over the back, don't know if you can see them. There's even a P-51 Mustang, which Top Gun fans will recognise instantly. Hey, thanks for coming along on the tour. I've finished my pre-flight. The weather outside doesn't look or sound much better than it was, but I think I'll just stay here for the afternoon and see what happens. Thanks for coming along.